Dude, man, it's your boy NATJ, man. We back with another video to the channel, man. Today we got a reaction video to the story of D.Rose. My bad, I was about to say 051. We got the story of D.Rose 600 part 5, y'all. We on part 5. Um, um, my bad for the last D.Rose part 4 episode. It was like 25 minutes, but it would have been longer. But I had somewhere to be, so I just want to get that shit out. But we got part 5 for y'all. So let's get right into this video, man. If you guys are new, make sure to like button, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, follow Instagram, NATJ21, follow Twitter, NATJ6, man. Let's get right into this video, man. Enough talking. Let's get it.
O'Block, especially King Von, still wanted revenge on Jaro City after the murder of White White, so did J Money. But because of a girl that both P5 and J Money were interested in. Her name is Lisa and was in several relationships. She was the mother of J Money's son, but she was also with P5, also known as Crack. She was also close to other members from Jaro City and also 051 Young Money members. Arrow, for example. There are also rumors that she was in a relationship with D.Rose. Recently she was in a super toxic relationship with Rio from KTS before he got gunned down. P5 was a big drug dealer from Jaro City. He made a lot of money and J Money wanted him badly because of Lisa, and since King Von wanted a member from Jaro just as bad, they decided to set up P5 and kill him. There are many who complain that I paint all this as a game. I don't. They refer to it as a game and I tell you about it. I will tell what I mean by it. One day before the murder of P5, King Von tweeted, "I ain't been hanging out with D.Rose like that, because he's been winning. I gotta catch up first, give me to Friday lol." This proves a lot, and King Von is not the only one who treated the war like a game. Most of the members do, at least on social media. King Von already had 2 bodies at this time, which means that D.Rose at least had 3 already at the age of 18. The day after that tweet, on D.Rose's birthday, Von did catch up, and did it together with L.A. Capone and J Money. J Money and King Von came up with a plan to trick 23-year-old Derek Johnson into making him think that he was going to meet someone who wanted to buy drugs from him on the 6200 block of South Eberhard Avenue, which is Jaro City's main territory. P5 agreed to meet up with the person he thought came to buy drugs at 9:13 a.m., but instead he was greeted with an ugly surprise. The people he saw were King Von, J Money, Big A, L.A. Capone and Manny from 600. As soon as he saw them he started running, but unfortunately J Money caught up with him and shot him in his back. P5 fell to the ground, but the OB 600 members did not stop there. They all stood over him and shot him 6 times in his face and 9 times in his body. It was a really ugly and dirty kill. After they were done, they pretty much left him there without a face and 9 holes in his body. And when paramedics and police arrived at the crime scene, they had a hard time identifying the body. It was that ugly. Derek was taken to John H. Strotcher Jr. Hospital of Cook County, where he was pronounced dead.
Yeah.
Meet Litter Robot, the revolutionary self-cleaning litter box that eliminates the chore of scooping.
It came out pretty quickly who had killed P5. It did not take long before J Money started taunting both P5 and his ex on Twitter. J Money tweeted things like, 45 hit his dreadlocks, and, P5 you got some weed, that's crazy that you sleep. The two tweets came only 3 days after the murder of P5 and the same day as J Money tweeted this. He was subjected to an assassination attempt. J Money drove around by himself in traffic around King Drive and FBG, but caught him in traffic and shot up his car without hitting J Money, and J Money managed to speed away from the scene. J Money continued to mock P5 after this incident and basically admitted on Twitter that he killed him when he wrote "I got crack." Manny, King Von and L.A. Capone also went on Twitter to mock P5 by tweeting how many bullets he caught and that OB600 is up. Von also made it very clear that he was not done yet when he tweeted, "I'm starting to feel bad for the ops, because on that lady I'm coming. Coming and coming and coming. D.Rose is coming also, and the whole block 600 coming too." King Von had now caught 2 bodies and shot 3 people in the same month, which can be a reason why King Von in the song, Armed and Dangerous, said, "People dying the whole October, the real Halloween." L.A. Capone made several disrespectful tweets. Among other things, he wrote, "I saw a dude get holes all in his face, hit the ground and got more holes in his face, then his shit was gushing out." The day after the murder of P5 from Jaro City, it was 600's turn to lose a member, Trix. Trix was shot dead while sitting in his car in the 5700 block of South Prairie Avenue, allegedly by Kiddo from 051 Young Money. However, many members from 600 such as Cide and Rondo No. 9 claimed that Trix wasn't a member but just an innocent bystander. Cide even took it as far as saying, "F Trix," despite hanging with him only days before his death. Most of the other 600 members were respectful and paid homage, but also pointed out that he was not a member. 2 weeks after the murder, it was time for 600 and O Block to score together. Before we get to that, I just want to shut down one more rumor. It has long been speculated that D.Rose was involved in the murder of Big Meech from 50 Strong, but it is false as D.Rose was locked up at the time. As you have probably noticed, there are many bodies that have falsely been put on D.Rose due to his name and reputation. To my knowledge, D.Rose has been involved in 4 or 5 murders at most. What you have to remember is that D.Rose had not even turned 18 when the police took him off the street. He was very young when he put in the most work.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words.
As I said, only 2 weeks after the murder of Trix, O'Block and 600 would catch a body together. King Von, T-Roy, bite down and blast his ass were out looking for a guy called Lil James, or Baby J. James was an older GD member who many believed was a member of Mob because he was shot in Mob territory, which said he actually claimed is pretty unknown. A lot of people saying that he claimed M-Town, which is the set together with Von World who eventually formed Mob. However, James was from 071 and even called himself Baby Joe 71, which was also his name on Instagram. The set that houses on 68th to 71st, Wentworth to Lafayette, is Tay City, who James was really close with, and many members from Tay City attended his funeral, which I will come to later. James was a big trapper and was close with a lot of M-Town and Mob members, which explains why he was in Mob territory when he was killed. A cousin to James even tweeted, "Lost my lil cousin James because Moggs thought he was in an op neighborhood that was not his own." As I said, James was a big trapper, not a shooter nor a killer. He made huge money from trapping and wasn't shy of showing it off on his open Instagram, where he posted pictures of money, clothes and cars. James was cool with a lot of sets and a lot of people around the city, which can explain why over 1,200 people attended his funeral. On November 19, 2012, Von T-Roy, blast his ass and bite down, decided to go try to catch James liking and rob him. They got a drop on his address where he lived, the 6000 block of South Michigan Avenue. They went to the address and spotted James, but he was not by himself. He was with several other guys. As soon as James and the others saw bite down, D.Roy, blast his ass, and Von, at least one, tried to pull out their guns, but it was too late. The OB-600 all had guns on them and had already raised them on the group of people outside of the apartment building. They started spraying bullets at them, and James was sadly struck in the right forearm and chest. Luckily, no one else was injured in the shooting. The OB-600 member bailed out immediately and headed back to 600's territory. James was rushed to Holy Cross Hospital, where he was later tragically pronounced dead. 7 days after the murder, it was time for James' funeral. The funeral got shot up and 2 people from Tay City were killed, Sherman and Deontay. To my knowledge, O'Block and 600 were not responsible for this, even though they are quite famous for shooting up funerals. We now leave 2012 and instead enter the year 2013, which was a very bad year for 600, and also in some way the beginning of the fall of 600 due to the loss of L.A. Capone. However, we will start in April 2013. Charles, whose real name was Charles Bush, was an alleged member of Mob who was killed by 600 on April 3, 2013. Charles, 33, was walking eastbound on 59th Street when he said something to someone inside a black minivan. The minivan then pulled over and someone from inside the van ran out and fired 2 shots at Charles. Charles was shot in the abdomen and lower torso and was taken in critical condition to John H. Striger Jr. Hospital of Cook County, where he later died. After the person fired the shots, the person ran south and jumped back into the van, which then fled. The member who jumped out and fired the shots was allegedly the rapper Buka600, who today is very close with Lil Durk. A person was also arrested for this murder, and I highly suspect it was Buka600. I have requested the murder report and waited several weeks for it, but still haven't got it yet. After this murder, it was quite quiet out on the streets for a while. Most of the outstanding members from 600 block was locked up at the time. However, a few months later, we arrive at the month of September, the month where O Block first lost one of their top members, J Money, and then 600 lost their most high-profile member and rapper, Al Capone. On September 2nd, 2013, O Block would tragically lose one of their most beloved members, and to quote Lil Twan from Taekwon World, Lil B would give P5 the best birthday gift. It has long been speculated that J Money was set up by a girl when he was killed, and that K.I. was one of the killers along with Lil B. However, almost all of this is false except that Lil B was actually the killer. However, some people like Mona from A Block claim J Money was with a girl named Smokey when he was killed. However, this does not seem to be true, at least when looking through police documents. Much of the information in the report is redacted in black to protect witnesses and other valuable information. In the report, it was mentioned that J Money was together with Prince Dre and Dog when they drove to the 6600 block of South Rhodes Avenue to do laundry. At the same time, Lil B was with at least one other person in the car. The driver, who is unknown, drove up next to J Money's car in traffic, and Lil B was hiding in the car to then peek to get a glimpse to see if it really was J Money in the car. They then followed J Money's car, and the driver dropped off Lil B on 66th and Rhodes, where Lil B went behind a house, went through a gangway and started blowing with his 9mm Luger at J Money, who was loading his laundry in his car with Dog while Prince Dre was in the car. As soon as the shots started to pop off, J Money started running. Lil B ran after him, shooting in his direction. Sadly, J Money got it in the lower body and fell to the ground. He got up and tried to flee into an alley, but Lil B was still on his heels. He continued blasting at J Money, and now he hit more serious shots on J Money. He was hit in the chest several times, one of which went out how his mouth went, and finally one that hit J Money right in the forehead. The whole thing about J Money was stood over and was shot 4 times in the grill, as Wooski stated in his song Computers, is completely false, and probably only meant as a mockery.
In the AR if he's a true player.
J Money, 21, whose real name was Jerome Wood, was sadly pronounced dead on the scene once the paramedics arrived. What is also mentioned in the documents is that once the shots started ringing in the air, Dog allegedly jumped in the driver's seat and drove off from the scene together with Prince Dre. However, the names Prince Dre and Dog are not mentioned. The identifications are puzzled together by date of birth, descriptions, along with the fact that Prince Dre said in a song that he witnessed J Money die. The police report confirmed in several places that Rayson Lil B. Shaw was the suspected sole shooter in the murder of J Money. The documents also reveal that King Lil J and FBG Butta provided information about the murder and that they have heard that Lil B was the suspected killer. What is really revealing when you read all these documents is how many actually snitched to the police. There really are any number of people in all the gangs in Chicago. There is no gang where no one has snitched. I just want to make that clear. For example, Face from 600 snitched, which will come to later in the story. What is also revealing in the documents is that the same weapon used in the murder of J Money was used only a little less than 2 weeks in a shooting on Front Street where 6 members were arrested, one of them Lil B. As most of you already know, J Money was one of the older and more respected members of O Block. He had been in the game even before Wick City. He was allegedly involved in multiple murders and shot people like 50 Shot, Torrance, and Rel from Jaro City, and Boomin from STL/EBT. He was really putting in a lot of work and was one of O Block's top members. After his death, O Block adopted the nickname Money Gang, or OBMG, to honor his memory. J Money is also the reason why several members today have Munna in their name, such as Munna Duke and Ocho Munna. A lot of people were after Lil B after the murder of J Money. He was close with gang like Lamron, THF 46, 600 and O Block, who were all prepared to slide in his name. Before we get to the murder of L.A. Capone, there is a murder to tell about that Rondo No. 9 was allegedly involved in. Rondo, who was originally from Risky Road, was hanging out with Mackie and BT from Risky Road. Suddenly, some ops came through and started shooting. Mackie ran away while Rondo produced a handgun and started returning fire. After the shooting, Mackie came back and BT was laying dead on the ground in front of Rondo No. 9. When Mackie asked Rondo what happened, Rondo told him that he killed BT by accident while trying to return fire on the shooters. Rondo then told Mackie to tell the gang that it was the ones who came through shooting that killed him. Things like this happen all the time in Chicago. It's very easy to happen. Pluto from Lamron was killed in the same way, for example. Just a week later, what happened would begin the demise of 600. On September 26, 2013, 051 would score 600 for the third time. It was the day that L.A. Capone's career in life would come to an end. L.A. Capone was set up by 757 Hard Knock, who was in the same studio as him, gave the drop on L.A. Capone's location to 051 Young Money members. Rockhead, Lil Mick, Big A and Mako got on it immediately, waited until L.A. Capone came out of the studio, and then Lil Mick ran up to him and shot him in his right thigh and lower back. He was rushed to the Northwestern Memorial Hospital where he later was pronounced dead. The leg L.A. Capone was shot in was the exact same leg that Boss Trell had shot him in a year before his death, which could be the reason why L.A. Capone never made it. Lil Mick, Rockhead and Mako were later all arrested and later convicted of the murder despite the attempts of cutting off Lil Mick's dreadlocks to confuse the police. Big A from 051 was the only one present at the murder who was not charged with the murder. However, she would meet a terrible fate because about 2 months later, Westbrook, Dre Money and Bezu from THF-46 allegedly killed Big A from 051 Young Money with multiple shots to the face.
Damn. That karma shit around, bro. I don't play like that.
I'm a big fan of Botanist Gin for this season's cocktails. It's bright, it's balanced, it's the perfect drink to sip in the sun.
Bro, cause like, you really gotta watch what you do in the streets, bro, cause it's like, yeah, the police might not come get you, bro, but you gotta worry about the person you killed, people come back around, bro. So it's like, hey, karma gonna come back around some way, bro. You gonna do time, you gonna do that time, or you gonna get killed, bro. See, bro. And man,
I don't think many people understand how much of an impact the murder of L.A. Capone had on the 600 as a whole. He was literally their ticket out. He was one of the most talented rappers in the city. He was the face of 600. He was best friends with Rondo, C-Day, Capone, and D.Rose. And what many forget is that L.A. Capone actually had a body under his belt. He put in real work on the streets. Capone even stated in his song way back that he was out looking for Lil Mick's mother. There is even a rumor that Lil Durk slid with Rondo and C-Day before they got locked up. Many also forget that Lil Durk was very close to L.A. Capone, C-Day, Rondo and them. His death affected him heavily. The murder of L.A. Capone would really be the start of the 600's downfall. It is almost difficult to describe the impact his death had on 600, but the incidents afterwards speak for themselves. The whole 600 would implode within months due to his death. At the end of 2013, DYMB would fall out with Lamron, 600, THF-46 and O Block after Pluto from Lamron was accidentally killed by Ivory from TYMB. However, even though most people think it was by mistake, many felt differently after hearing reports that Pluto was shot in the back while sitting in the front seat of a car. After the murder, both sides began to sneak diss each other. Lil Reese from Lamron went on Twitter and wrote, "I'm die for both sides for Pluto," and recently, in the song Crossroads, Lil Durk rapped, "Pluto would still be alive if he ain't hung with strangers," which to me and many others makes it sound like it wasn't an accident. After the song was released, Courtney from TYMB went out on social media and said that Durk is lucky to be alive and that his time is running out. Other TYMB members like Big Dre and Jitta have also mocked Lil Durk several times. 600 and O Block basically fell out with DYMB due to their relations with DHF-46 and Lamron. A lot of O Block and 600 members started to drop the Ys for TYMB. Then TYMB started to say FOD and that Obama is the real O. However, Moneyman from TYMB actually did not support this split since he was very good friends with Prince Dre and had a lot of respect for him. Another member who didn't pick sides was D.Rose from 600, who was very close with both sides. In the end, D.Rose actually got a lot of respect for not picking a side and staying neutral in the conflict. Now we have come to the year 20.
alright, y'all, we gonna finish. Stop it right here. We ain't got not that long to go, but if y'all guys are new, man, make sure you like button, comment, subscribe, turn on post notification, follow Instagram, NHJ21, follow Twitter, NHJ6, man. Boy J, I'm out. Peace.